Welcome to PhotographyBB's Vintage Grunge Artistry effects for Photoshop. These effects are template-based and require absolutely no installation of any actions, no brushes, no patterns. Simply open the template files in Adobe Photoshop and create your digital artwork in seconds. This template is called Distorted Reality, and again this comes in three orientations. We have landscape, portrait, and a square orientation for this template here. And it's very easy to use to create this effect. So the first thing that we want to do is follow the instructions on the screen here. Double-click the top layer thumbnail to add your image. So here's the top layer. Again, we don't want to click on the text. That will just edit the text. We want to click on the thumbnail itself twice. And that opens up the Smart Object layer. All we have to do here is place your image above this layer by going to the menu File and Place or Place Embedded, depending on which version of Photoshop you're using. And for this effect here, I'm going to use this image right here. Click on Place. And you can see for this particular image that I'm working with, it doesn't quite fill the template. So I'm going to hold down the Option key on a Mac or the Alt key on a PC, and I'll drag the little handle up here so that it just fills the full document. And to finalize this image and to place it, I'm just going to click the check mark here. And that places our own image into the Smart Object layer. Now all we have to do is close and save this Smart Object layer to apply the effect. So I'm going to click the little X to close the Smart Object, click Save to save the Smart Object, and Photoshop will automatically produce the effect for us like magic. And there we go. The effect is automatically produced for us, and we have a number of optional controls that we can work with. So the first that we have is the grain options here, and we can toggle this layer folder open. And the default is set on grain 3. We can also add more grain by clicking grain 2, or even more grain by clicking grain 1. I'll go with 2 and 3 turned on. And you can, of course, increase or decrease the opacity to intensify that effect as well. So I'm going to toggle this one closed, and we'll move on to the color options. Now for this effect, I have a number of really cool color options that are preset for you. Color option 6 is the default. I can turn that off. You can keep it as black and white if you like. You can go with color option 1. That's a really cool one for this image. Color option 2, and so on. You can play with all of these different ones. Another thing you can do for these effects is if you want to maintain this kind of color option, but maybe it's a little bit too strong, you can decrease the opacity of this layer, and you'll see you get a very nice looking effect right here. And for the very adventurous Photoshoppers out there, you can actually double click on any of these and edit the gradient by clicking on the gradient, clicking on any of these color swatches, and altering their color if you would like. You can change it to something very dramatic, and you'll see the effect that it has on the image. Okay, but once again, we will stick with the defaults for now, and maybe I'll increase the, yeah, I like that. Go with that. Okay, I'm going to close up the color folder here. And next we have some different effect selection options. So if I toggle this folder open, we have 4 different effects that we can work with. So this one here is a little bit of like a zoom type of motion effect here. I can turn that effect off and go with a sort of swirly, mystical looking one right here. Go with the next one down here, effect number 3. It's kind of an arced motion effect here. And number 4 is a very sort of like an apparition type of effect on the photo here. And for this one, I actually like, let's see, number 1, I like this one, number 2. I'm going to go with number 2 for this photo. So I'm going to close that one up here. Now, one of the things you can do if you like the effect, but you aren't feeling the color options for a particular image that you're working with. So you can turn off the color options. Of course, you have the black and white here, but if you wanted to restore the original colors of the original image, you can toggle open the layer effects right here. And you'll see that there's a black and white smart filter on right now. If I just click on the eyeball, I can toggle that off, and I'm back to the original colors of the original image. And again, we can change the effect to any of these that we had before. So that's what you can do if you wanted to keep the original colors of the image. I happen to like the sort of more artistic colors that we had, and that's how you can play with those. So that's all there is to it to create some really cool effects with this distorted reality template file. I hope you have lots of fun with this one, and thank you again for choosing Artistry Actions by PhotographyBB. Happy photoshopping.